yeah, here comes Purdue. It's the one that's been on Tinder every day. Left swipe, left swipe, left swipe. Every time I stick my head out in the curtain, he's on that phone. Guys, I'm Gerald Swindle. If anybody hadn't been here already, I'm a B.A.S.S Masters Elite Series angler. Been fishing almost 20 years. Going in my 20th season right now. Won 2 Angler of the Year through B.A.S.S Masters. That's 04 in 2016. Only 12 guys in the world ever do that. That's some of my best accomplishments. I've got some that I'm proud of. I've got some records that I'm not proud of. I'm also the only angler to ever win 2 Angler of the Years and 0 in the boat classics. Now think about that. That's going in the record books with only 12 guys in the world. Then I zeroed it down that I'm the only guy in the world to ever win Angler of the Year and 0 in the classic. I said, I'm going to show them this consistency. I've done it again. Waited 12 years, done it again. So, you know, the thing about fishing, when I break you guys in, that this sport can go up and down quick. So some days you want them, some days you're not, right? That's what we need to talk about a little bit, because I think what I've learned, the biggest thing in the sport that I could pass on to somebody your age, if I could tell you one thing to take away from it, was, I hate to say it like this because it sounds bad, you got to learn to lose. Unfortunately, you got to learn to lose, because you guys are going to be fishing in some atmospheres where the competition is going to be fierce, and it can come down to ounces. It could go a long way. It could be the difference in one of you guys going to the B.A.S.S Masters Classic, one of them not. But how you handle that's going to pretty much be the result if your career continues at that path. The hardest thing I ever had to do in fishing was learn to lose. I thought I was supposed to win every tournament. When I come out of carpet work, I was cocky. I said, son, I am going to catch them. I am going to blast them. You have no idea. I said, I am the man. They just don't know it yet. I left Locust Fork, Alabama, drove all the way to St. Lawrence River. Fished my first B.A.S.S Master Invitational. Back then it was 300 guys. We fished in the same boat, flipped for the boat. So you had to compete who won the trolling motor, who didn't. 4 hours in the front, 4 hours in the back. First tournament I went to, I said, I am the man. 300 people. 291st place. I settled in that when it was said and done. So I had a 24-hour drive home in a truck that had 300,000 miles on it to contemplate how I beat them 9 people. I said, that was luck. They just got me with a lucky punch. I said 2 or 3 weeks we had another night on the Potomac River. I ain't never seen tidal water. The only water that moved up and down in my house was a commode. You flush it and went out, you let it raise and come back up. I did not understand tidal water fishing whatsoever. I went out there and I said, but I'm still the man. I got 300 guys here. A solid 298th place finish. I beat 2 guys. I said, I am on fire. That was a long 13-hour drive home to contemplate what went wrong. First thing I learned right then, accept losing. Doesn't matter, it's one tournament. Very next tournament we went out to Lake Gaston. We were supposed to actually fish Bugs Island. Went to Bugs Island, the tournament water got so high, the last second they said we're moving the tournament to Lake Gaston. Finished second, lost by 5 ounces. 4 weeks later we went to Lanier, finished third, lost by 11 ounces. So I went from the bottom of the pack to the top of the pack in 1 year. The very next year, after 3 tournaments, I was leading the points. I had a second, third, and 5th. I was going to the last tournament leading the points. We're drawing out tournaments. I drew a guy y'all may be familiar with on Lake Guntersville. His name is Kevin Van Dam. That's right. I'm a rookie at that time, and I draw Kevin Van Dam. I lose the flip to the boat, so he gets to take his boat the next day. The first day we didn't weigh in enough to make a fish sandwich. Day 2, I rallied back and caught 4 that weighed 21 pounds. Qualified me for the elites, but I missed the B.A.S.S Masters Classic by 1 point. 1 point. I'm number 6 guy, and I'm out. Early on, I learned in this sport, what you're doing, you're going to have some highs and lows. How you handle them lows is what I'm going to talk to you about. Can you keep your head up and walk off and say it's cool? Are you going to be one of them guys, and we all seen it, when your buddy beats this guy, and he's on there on Instagram, he cheated, he got help, he done this, he done that. That makes my teeth itch. It ain't none of my business if you got help or what you done. I say I make a record almost everywhere I go. I will find the guy who won the event and shake his hand. I want to be man enough whether or not he knows it. No matter how bad he beat me, I'm going to walk up to him and shake his hand and say, good job, man, you won. I'm not going to get on Instagram and hate on him. Can't stand that. I look at that and I was like, why? It doesn't matter. My nephew fishes for Locust Fork High School, and he is a stick. I'm talking about a stick. And I seen him on Instagram one day complaining that he thought the other kids had gotten an unfair advantage, and that was not the thing he wanted to hear from his Uncle G when I called him up. I'm like, don't do it again. I said, your last name's Swindle, don't be doing it again. If they beat you, they beat you. Deal with it. Grow up. He said, I said, Excuses don't matter. It doesn't matter. It's just that's a negotiation. I said, you got beat, grow up. It's kind of how we handle things. And from that, what I'm trying to tell you is it made me a better person. I get beat a lot more than I win. I've won $2 million, but I have lost a bunch. Some of them ain't gonna be easy. Some of them will be within 1 ounce. Dean Rojas beat me at Toledo Bend. I actually won the event by 7 ounces. Had one fish die, which is an 8-ounce dead penalty, which means Gerald Swindle loses by 1 ounce. $80,000 because of 1 ounce. I returned back to Toledo Bend the next year and said, all right, I'm going to get straight with this deal. I tied for 50th place, which is a $10,000 check. The tiebreaker goes to who had the most fish weighed in. We both had, me and Ish had 10 apiece. Second tiebreaker come down to who had a dead fish. I had 1 fish die, cost me $10,000. I'm $90,000 backwards on Toledo Bend. I told him the next time I went there, I said, if one dies, I'm eating him. I don't care what y'all say. I'm going to take him home and cook it for Lulu. So it's the most expensive sushi you've ever eaten in your life. It's a $90,000 fish. Some of the things that we will control your wins and losses, it's out of your control. It's out of your control. Just walk off from it. I couldn't help it that a 7-pounder choked the chatterbait in the back of his throat. It wasn't my fault. I'm just glad to catch him, but he died. What I had to learn is when you leave an event, something that I try to do, if I've had a bad event like Lake Martin, when I get in that truck and I start driving home, I take that rear view mirror and I turn it down to the floor. It's just as simple as say I'm not looking back. It's over. It's over. I ain't gonna look in the mirror and I'm not gonna second guess myself 1,000 times about, oh, I wish I'd have swapped up. How many times you come home from returning going, I wish I'd have done this? I got a new focus now. It says when I make a decision, I want to fish it the best that I can fish it. You know, you ever fish around people and you think every decision they make is good? You guys ever got into that yet where you watch a guy and you think, man, it seems like all of his decisions are good. Somebody asked me one time, they said, it seems like you guys always find the big schools of fish. Even asked me that about Kevin Van Dam. They said that, you know, it seems like he's always on them. I said, Kevin will take a spot that's got 12 bass on it and catch all 12 of them. And when he leaves there, you'll think it's the best spot in the lake. It ain't worth a hoot. It ain't nothing. But in his mind, he fished it like it's the best spot in the lake. I can take you to the biggest school in the lake and you can put half-hearted emphasis in it and you're going to get half-hearted results, correct? What I'm trying to tell you is when you pull in your first tournament, you put the trolling motor down, look at your partner and say, hey, I don't care if this spot's any good or not, but if there's 3 here, let's catch all 3 of them. You know, that's how that approach takes. That's why when you watch that on TV, you think, man, that guy's always on big schools. No, he's just fishing it like it's the best place in the lake. That's called an internal confidence. The guy's just going to reach out there and do it. There's no quit left in him. It's a grit. It's a grind. I asked you guys a question. I'm going to throw some trivia at you. There's a professor, and she was doing a study. They sent her all around the country. She said she could prove without a shadow of a doubt by going in and interviewing kids just like you. She could interview each and every one of you individually, write down your strengths and your weaknesses, and she could forecast your success in life. Now, this professor had claimed she could do that, so they let her do a study for 1 year. And she studied. She went to West Point Academy. She went to some of the top-ranked football teams in the nation, top-ranked baseball teams, college baseball teams in the nation. And she would write down your strength, how fast you were, how strong you were, what you'd been taught, your lessons. She wrote all this down. She even had a staff assembled so they could study it. Because she was guaranteed she could prove who could be successful before the game was played, or the game of life was played. And after 1 year, they asked her to give her analysis, and she stood on a stage, and she said, after 1 year, and every stat and everything I wrote down, she said, we have not guessed one correct yet. And she said, in all my equations, and all my studies, and all my reading, I understand how to judge your strength over your strength, your casting over your casting, or your ability to score higher on a grade test than this guy. She said, I have all this information. But she said, one thing me and my staff did not have and we did not figure into any equation. She just said, it's one word. And everybody was just dead quiet in the audience. They said, what's that word? She said, grit. Grit. She said, I don't know how to gauge grit. She don't know how much grit you got versus how much grit you got. You could be bigger, faster, and stronger, but you could want it more than him. And she said at the end of the day, the cadets that we thought would finish last at West Point that didn't have what it takes, come to find out they had more grit than anybody around them, so therefore they beat our test. When it come to football, they couldn't judge a player that had the grit. They could judge the one who could bench press the most and run the fastest. But at the end of the day, she said it come down to grit. And I sit there and watched that speech and I thought, and that's life, guys. Tournament fishing and life in general. It's grit. I ask kids all the time. I had a guy come up to me one time and he said, Gerald, he said, I've done it everything. He said, I've tried, man. He said, I did it all. He said, I've exhausted every effort. I've exhausted every effort and I'm going to quit. I said, really? You see, I'm not the guy you come to when you look for sympathy. I tell them that's found in the dictionary between syphilis and another word that I can't say out loud. If you look it up when you get home in college and see where sympathy's at, it's in between them two words, so I don't give it out. Don't come to me for sympathy. He said, I've tried it all. I said, oh, you have? I said, you slept in the truck, you broke? Have you went hungry? Have you ate hoop cheese? Have you fished around the ramp for $5 worth of gas? Have you cut people's yard when nobody was looking? Have you stole gas from your daddy's lawnmower to go fishing? He said, no. I said, then you ain't gave it all you got. Don't come talk to me about I've given it all I got. You give it all you thought you should have got. You give it all what you said, hey, this is enough. It ain't enough. It ain't enough. Most people want to give enough to play the game, but don't want to give enough to win. That makes sense? You want to give enough to play the game, but you don't want to give enough to win. It's the way I'm telling you this about fishing, but one day you'll look back and say that stupid redneck sitting up there to talk real fast, that kind of applied to life. It really does. Because you're going to go on to be, you guys are going to go on to be great things. Some of you may be the next Kevin Van Dam, the next Ike Nelly. Who knows? You may be the next Aaron Martin, wearing shoes with socks around your little toes. I don't know. I mean, Aaron eats acres of nuts and grass and runs 30 miles a day. I don't know. You might be him. But you might go on to be the President of the United States. You might go on to be the governor of your state. And you will slowly realize, did I give enough to win? My wife will tell you straight up, I'm a guy that believes in giving it all, at all costs. The problem with that is when you lose, it sucks. I'm not your mom and daddy. I'm not going to come hug your neck and say, hey, you get a little trophy because you played hard. Now you don't get a trophy. You don't get nothing. You get a chance to dust it off and do it again. That's what you get a chance. But let me tell you, every time you do that, you get calloused and you get stronger. You want it more. I think that urge at y'all's age is key. People tell me sometimes they worry about you guys. I'm older than 48 years old. Don't think I'm old and got snow on the hill, but there ain't no fire down below, son. I'm ready. I'm ready to fight a battle. I'm gray-headed, but I ain't dumb. I mean, I challenge each and every one of you to rap music. You want to throw them out here from Drake, get Snoop Dogg, it don't matter. 2 Chainz, 4 Chainz. I'll throw every rap song, every rhyme, every dime. I've rolled on 24s, 22s, 20s. I've been limped up, bad, tilted back, car show. I got a 66 Chevy 2 Nova with a 434 roller motor, drop 6 inches, 20 on the back, 18s on the front gear, 411, putting out 600 horsepower. I know how to roll in the hood and be cool. I ain't old. I got some wisdom. I've been there. And I can tell you, where y'all going, people say, I worry about the millennials. I worry about the millennials. I do a little. I said, I worry about us worrying about the millennials. I said, why? I said, because we babying them. Let them be kids. Let them eat some paint chips. Let them pick a booger. I don't care. I said, the problem is we don't want them to try. Your parents, people are scared to let you try and fail. You a big boy. I promise you. You lose, you'll get up. People say, well, worry about the millennials. Don't worry about it. Our parents didn't worry about us. We didn't even have seat belts. My mama rolled down the road, brake check you. Oh, God. We had an LTD. They was 32 miles long. She brake check you and you bounce off that headrest. You be in revival when you got up, Jesus, amen. Well, who hit me? We lived. We drank water out of a water hose, ate paint chips. We did all that. We lived. I said, I'm not really that worried about you. I would like to sit down with a lot of guys sometimes just like this today on a smaller venue and say, life ain't going to be easy. It ain't. You ain't always going to get a trophy. Don't mean you're a loser. I promise that. It means you're willing to play the game. And I promise you, keep your head up, keep grinding, you'll win. You remember I told you this one day, grinders gonna grind. I don't care if you cutting wood or you washing windows or working at express oil change. A grinder will grind. He will make it happen. That's all I want you to do. Give it 110%. Somebody beats you, stand up, head up, walk off. I may go to Hartwell and take a biblical beating at the Classic. You know what that is, a biblical beating? That's the red words in the Bible that they wrote in the big bold letters. That means you got a whooping. That's the kind of whoopings I got as a kid. Y'all ever had any of them whoopings where you get religion, oh Jesus help me, the devil's done got me? I had them kind of whoopings. But you know what, I look back and people say, man, I don't know about that, your boy's raised a little hard. I love my daddy more and more every day because he whooped me. Every day. Back then I didn't understand it, but boy do I love my daddy now, because if he didn't, I'd be in penitentiary. I tell all y'all straight up, If I'd had an iPhone when I was 15, I'd be in the penitentiary. I guarantee you I'd have been in trouble. It's what made me who I am. Beating on the water and off the water. I go to Hartwell and get beat. It ain't going to change my outlook. It ain't going to change my vision. I still want to be number one in the world. I still want to win the Classic. But I ain't going to let the goal of trying to be number one in a sport dictate who I am on the water and what kind of person I am. How you treat people. I'd ask each and one everyone. When you fish with somebody, you treat them with ultimate respect. If you pull up on the bank and somebody's on your best spot, and you own them, you two own them. You pull up there on tournament morning and them two boys is already on it. You gonna be man enough to drive off, or you gonna pull in and put the trolling motor down on top of it. That's the hardest thing decision you'll ever make. People don't understand it. Out of all the decisions I make fishing is when I know I'm on them, and I roll in somewhere and somebody's sitting there. I got to make a conscious decision in my effort today. Do I want to be this guy, or do I want to be treated like I want him to treat me? Now, just because you make that decision don't mean you're going to get it in return. That's what we got to always check ourselves with. Hardest thing I've ever had to do is pull in somewhere and somebody be there and me know that's all I got. And y'all been there. You know what it's like when you pull in, you're like, it's the only place we got any bites. And somebody sitting there, you're like, oh, heck. Biggest lesson I ever learned on that. I fished Pickwick. I was a rookie. I run 35 miles in freezing rain. It's 20 degrees. I'm soaking wet. Rain suit froze. I can't feel my hands. Snot behind my neck froze. It's day 2 of the tournament. I pull in and make about 3 casts all the way up the 10-ton waterway. The guy pulls up right beside me, pulls his mask off his head, and he said, I didn't see you here yesterday, son. I turned around and I said, no, sir, I wasn't here. I said, I couldn't get down here yesterday. He said, well, I'm Rick Pun, and this is where I caught 25 pounds that yesterday. He said, I appreciate you leaving it with me. I had a decision to make. Yeah, I'm a 25-year-old carpenter rookie. And I thought maybe I should just get respect. Then I had to learn the hard way you earn respect. I had to make that decision that day. I needed the money, guys. I needed it. Trust me, I wasn't sleeping in my truck because it was cool to write about Bassmasters. I was sleeping in my truck because I couldn't afford nowhere. I was brushing my teeth with Mountain Dew long before they paid me to wear it on my logo. I can promise you that. I was the best at backing the boat into the outhouse, behind the pump house at the ramp and plugging it in. I didn't care. When you got there at 4 a.m., I'd get out and walk around like I'd been there waiting on you. I just woke up. I needed the money. I said, Rick, this is all I got, bro. I said, when I leave, I expect one day you're going to return it to me. He said, I will. I cranked the boat up driving off, and I'm thinking, Doug, you're an idiot, because you done run all the way down here. It's all you got. So I start running down the lake. Here's that lesson in life. You have that aha moment. I said, well, they was on rocks there. Why don't I just stop on some of these other rocks? The very first stretch of riprap, I caught a bass that weighed 9 pounds and 13 ounces on spinnerbait. Big bass in the tournament, $1,500. I ran to the next set of rocks and caught a 7-pounder. I come all the way back and got a check on a piece of grass and a piece of riprap that I'd never even seen before in my life. Is it karma? I don't know. I don't know. I'd have never caught big fish at the tournament had I to sit there and argue with it. I had a choice to make. Y'all be faced with a bunch of them. And I'm not telling you you're always going to make the right ones, because I'm telling you guys, I haven't always made the right ones. I haven't. I've been in that situation where you're like, man, that's all I got. I don't want to be this guy. I don't want to be this guy. I don't like fishing around people. Some of you guys might like fishing in a crowd. I'll be the first to tell you, I do not like fishing in a crowd. I'll fish an area that I think ain't got any fish in it just to keep fishing around you. And that's bad of me, but I like to fish alone. But when you do things like that, you have to step back and say, what did I learn? What did I learn? Would it have been real easy to blow up and go get into an argument with him and go, hey man, I ain't leaving, I'm running all the way down here, I got the right to fish here too? Or do you just pull a trolling motor up and say, I'm just gamble on faith that this is the right thing to do? And since then, and Rick Clunn's still fishing this day, he still treats me with the utmost respect from that day forward. I didn't know Rick then. He come up to me that year when I made my first Classic, and he said, son, you didn't know it that day, but he said, I felt a lot different about you when you drove off and left. I said, hey man, maybe one day to come back. But what I learned then is you earn your respect. So many people, it's like, I get tickled. I see people in the street, they go, respect me. Earn my respect. I learned yours. Respect is not something that you pass out. Respect other people, it'll come back around. I think fishing, to me, sometimes this is what's not ever talked about. We talk about the fancy jigs and the cute little cast, and the way we can go over there and catch one off of that dock and go over to catch one off that dock. That's all part of the puzzle. But it ain't the part y'all play every day. You fish on crowded body of water, do you not? How many kids y'all have in a tournament? 200, 300, 150? 50 kids? 250. That's a bunch. It gets hard to find somewhere to cast, don't it? You ever just get this mindset, that positive attitude, that when they force you off an area, you go, hey man, there's a place over there ain't nobody at, maybe they're biting, and you kind of laugh it off. Sometimes that's the strongest thing you can do. Because it truly is. That nobody's over. Maybe I should just go fishing. I don't have to fish in that big a crowd, but I fish against 109 guys right now that have the best Solix 15 Humminbird electronics, whatever you can find. I mean, they got electronics. They can see one where he spawned last year. They can see the DNA of a fish from 19 and 204. If there's a bass there, they know he's there. The problem is, we all find the same stuff. And I don't care how big a body of water you put us on day one, when they start calling boats, about 8 of us are going to race to the same spot. And we got to make that decision. And can you fish on top of each other and make it work? Absolutely. I've done it. I pulled in straight up. So, hey man, I'm not going to put the trolling motor down and start fishing. I'm just letting you know that I found these fish here and I don't want to fish on top of you and be that guy. But do you want to work around each other today, or you want me to fish them tomorrow? The decision's yours. That's how quick that negotiation went. I didn't put the trolling motor down and say, hey, I can't believe you big knucklehead. Yeah, no, it's a pretty simple call. Hey man, I come down here to fish these too. You want to share them with me? You want to fish around each other today and be polite? Or I'm going to be here first tomorrow. Then the decision's to that guy. Then it comes back to you. You can work it out. I can fish around somebody. But with 250 boats, water shrinks quick. Real quick. I know it. It seems like the bigger the lake we fish, the smaller they fish. I think sometimes when you go to the Great Lakes, you think there's no way. And on the Great Lakes, there ain't but 109 of us. You run 50 miles and pull out on a rock pile that ain't even on a graph, there'll be 7 people pulling on you. You're like, how did this happen? It just happens. You shake it off. Any of you guys listen to music when you fish? You have a few that do? Yeah. I know guys that can listen to music and fish and be successful. You know what I learned about when I listen to music? It gets me too pumped up. I'm dead serious. You be done dropping in some old Beastie Boys or like just some old Fred Durst, you know, and you just be like jamming. You be throwing that spin about 200 miles an hour down the bank. And I fished all one season, and I kept my earbuds in all the time. And at the end of the season, I found myself going down the bank, and I was like, oh God, I just want to jump in there and eat one of these fish. It actually jacked me up so bad it wasn't good. You never notice that certain kind of music when you fish, you know. So now I really don't try not to listen to music that much. If I do, I kind of watch what I listen to, because if you turn on some straight up like old school rock, whoo, you'll be breaking rods and stuff when they ain't biting. You'll be angry. And then if I get too much rap, I just be leaning back in a seat like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just going to ride around. You know, so I try to play the music to how I want to fish. See, y'all didn't think it had anything to do with fishing, did it? It's all called human emotions, what drives the brain. I'm telling you, when I dug around into PMA and I started understanding the power of the mind, I started really unleashing the power of fishing where I wanted to be. I thought the mindset was just something the coach talked about. If I could get each and every one of you today to look in the mirror every day and say, I'm going to be positive no matter what, I'm going to be positive, your fishing game will change 100%. Not only will your fishing game change, your life will. Your life will. It'll change it up. I ain't going to tell you it's going to be easy, because you're going to be in a gas station, somebody's going to be in front of you trying to count out pennies for a drink, and your positive mental attitude is going to need a test. You ever have them days? When I first started doing it, I had to put a rubber band on my wrist, and every time bad something happened, I had to pop a rubber band. Test for you guys. You think you're having a bad day, you want to test your positive mental attitude, get your rubber band put on your right wrist. Every time you think something negative, every time you say something negative, hold each other accountable. You say something negative, hey, that guy looks stupid. Hey, pop your rubber band. You got to pop it one time. Pop, pop. Now, I'm going to tell you, when I was doing this whole deal, there was times I needed a bungee cord. I needed some sure enough elastic, because I was popping that thing. I mean, I had a blister because I could get negative quick. And what I did learn is after about 25 days, every time I thought something negative, my mind automatically thought about the pain that it caused on my wrist. And then all of a sudden, after about 30 days, I kind of quit thinking negative. Things started getting a little better. It's a simple test of science to make me quit thinking negative. Every time you think something negative, or you think down, or you think less, the human mind has to have 21 positive thoughts to get back to where you started. Think about that next time you're going down the bank fishing and your guy goes, hey man, I don't think there's no fish in this lake. Shut up. Shut up. It don't matter if we think there's no fish in this lake. We just need 5 of them. You need 5 of them. Because and I'll tell marshals today, if I draw a marshal and I'm talking with my marshal, and I get a marshal that I feel is a negative vibe, I'll just straight up say, hey dude, you got to say something positive before you can say anything. I'll make him consciously think about what he's going to say and say something positive. I just like the vibe. I don't even like to hang around negative people. We got some friends of ours that I love to hang out with during the summer, but time to compete, I can't hang out with them. Everything's negative. Why are we here? The fishing's no good. The fishing's too small. The water's too cold. The water's too muddy. The water's too hot. I don't like the people. And I'm like, Lou, shut up. We're here for 3 days. We just got to catch 5 each day and go home. And I really had to kind of take a hold of that. I just don't want any negativity. Just stay positive. I got any questions on that? See, I brought y'all in and just put y'all felt like y'all was at church, didn't you? I ain't passed a hat or nothing. I just want to get y'all right here and talk to you. Because see, I do think, in all seriousness, when we talk about this earlier, I think I'm looking at the future of the sport. See, when I say that, it's not just a sport to me. It's a sport I dedicated my life to. My life to. I've marched and carried a flag for you guys. You guys that don't even know me. You girls that don't even know me. I walked that walk with B.A.S. and I walked that walk with FLW, and I fought for guys like you to have a paved road to skate on and not gravel like I started on. That simply means I fought for better payout. I fought to have your own boat in a tournament so you can put your own sponsors on there and make money. There's guys like myself, Timmy Horton, Van Dam, and Skeet Reese that have fought. So when I sit here, that's not just cheek and tongue. When I say, I think you guys are the future of the sport. Now I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it. And when y'all not around and somebody tries to take something away from the sport and organization, there's a group of guys that stand up and go, no, we're not. We want to provide a better way. There was a group of guys that stood up and said, you know what, we'd like to see college become the next level. We've also stood up and said we want to see college fishing grow to the point where a team like Purdue or a team like Ohio State or a team like Alabama would hire me when I retire to come coach their team and be sure enough to sanction and take it to the next level and have a $100,000 purse. There's a group of us guys that have that vision for college. We have it for high school too. So when I tell you I'm looking at the sport, I am. Without you guys, it ain't going to continue. I can tell you I'm going to do my part. I'm going to march and I'm going to carry that flag. I'm going to fight for better payouts, better tournaments, better locations. I'm going to negotiate with sponsors to let them know that you guys can't work for free, and neither can I, that we got to get out here and hustle and make a living. I figure if we can do our part to pave the road where you guys can make a living, more of you do it, then your children will do it. Your children do it, we're going to be fine. That's a little old school, ain't it? I said, this little boy done got deep right here. You didn't know that. It's people working in your advantage, you guys. That's why I tell them, I said, the difference in our sport is they don't connect enough of us with y'all. They don't connect enough of the elite guys to come back to the college level and say, I was you, I was you, I was you, you know, and let you aspire to be that next level. I just think it's just, you got to keep the bridge down and say, this is what it's all about. I'm going to tell each and every one of you to do it. I mean, you look at the NFL, there's 1 million people want to play football, but there ain't so many players. Same thing in baseball. All right, now let's look at pro fishing. On the Elite Series, there's 109 guys. On the FLW, there's 175 guys, 150 guys. The field is small, but I'm not going to tell you can't do it. Brandon Pollitt didn't take no for an answer. Johnny Van Dam didn't take no for an answer. I'll be the first to tell you, because I've had people say, man, I don't know if I tell my kids to get into fishing right now. I tell my kids to get into fishing. Get in there and get with it. It's a good sport, good living. You have a good time with it. Got any questions real quick, like why I have to head back to Alabama? Y'all didn't know I was going to get down. I think get down and dirty. I done hit you with some 2 Chains and everything else. You see this boy, don't know who 2 Chains is. I like that other group too, but I don't know what they're saying. They do all that, what's that, the cooking in the crock pot, what's that group? Biggity boo, 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 something like that, when they do the Bad Bougie. Bad Bougie. I can't understand a word they say, but I like it, man. All my wife knows is cooking up in the crock pot. That's what she said. I'm cooking in the crock pot. I said, hey, I just like the music, you know. So y'all didn't even know I listen to stuff like that. I'm crazy now. I'll be all up on the radio. She's thinking, how'd you know Bad Bougie? You know any Bad Bougie? I can't say it. Do you know the words? No, I don't know either. It's crazy stuff, but I know I like the rhythm. One question before I have to go. Any parents? Yes, sir. Gentleman's asking if I've got any PMA bracelets for sale, honey. You want to give me the one you got on your wrist? All right, you want to give that one up? If you ask my wife, she'll give you the one she's wearing. She sold every one she's had. So you can get down further. Yes, they'll be back on the website. PMA has become a big part of our life. That's my wife, Lulu. We have a daughter named Whitney, she's 25. I've got a 3.5-year-old grandbaby, and I've got a 6-week-old grandbaby. So my life's changing in a way, and now I understand what positive mental attitude means, because it helps me be a better father. You know, and I'm just going to tell you, you guys are going to grow up. You're not always going to be in college. You're going to grow up and go to the next level. You learn that mindset of how you treat people and how you think about things changes the game. Positive mental attitude has truly changed me as a married person and as a competitor. And I've come to grips with, if I have to work the rest of my life in fishing to remain mediocre, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. If I don't win the Classic, I'm cool with that too. I want to win it, but I may have to work my guts out just to be mediocre. Are you willing to do that? That's the question. If you work your guts out and you don't get the #1 trophy, I don't want to see you quit. Don't. Get up. I mean, I'm sitting there looking at Bill Owen back there. Say hey to Bill Owen. Guys, that's one of the most consistent shallow water fishermen on the tour. The guy right there cashes more check than Social Security does. That guy get paid everywhere we go. But you know what I admire about Bill? Sometimes Bill's like myself. He ain't in the running for the winning, but he's going to be in line to get a check. He's learned how to make chicken salad out of chicken poop. Yeah, Granddaddy ever tell you that? When you got just a little bit found, you can make it work. That guy right there is good at it. I admire that. So if I have to work that hard to finish 30, I'm cool with that. I don't have to be in the limelight to be judged on who I am or be cool with myself. If I can treat you fair on the water, and I can lay down at night and know that I did the best that I could and I didn't treat anybody unfairly, I'm going to be good with that. If I don't win the Classic, I'll be cool with that too. But if I do win the Classic, y'all want to be there, because it ain't going to be like any other win y'all ever seen. I'm not going to stand up there and go, woohoo! I'm taking my shirt off and waving around my head like a helicopter. And that's Petey Pablo, straight up out of Greenmore, North Carolina. Everybody know Petey Pablo? That's before your time. Freak Elite, anybody? Uh-huh. See, Petey Pablo, let me give y'all some rapping lessons. Petey Pablo was the only guy who come from Greensboro, North Carolina. Come straight up out of the hood. He did 3 albums back to back, multiple #1s. Walked off stage and never went back. Still lives in Greensboro, North Carolina, sitting on a pile of money. Only rapper to ever do that. The only rapper to ever do it 3 times, make it, lose it, make it, lose it, make it, lose it. Y'all never guess who it was. A guy named Bubba Sparks, Southern Georgia, white kid. Made it 3 times, lost it all. Think about that. Rise to the top, lost it. Went to the bottom. Wrote a song with a little group called the Yin Yang Twins, called Miss New Booty. Went all the way back, y'all know what I'm talking about now, all the way to #1, made millions. Lost it all, went right back home. Had to do it all over again, 3 times. You know what I call that? It's a man that ain't real smart, but he don't quit, and I like that. He can fish with me every day of the week. It's just called grit. I want to see you guys, next time you're out on the water, check yourself, hold each other responsible. If your boy next to you starts going crazy, go, hey man, reel it in, let's keep some PMA, let's keep our grit. Let's hold each other accountable. If y'all see me do something wrong, call me out. I'm cool with it. I ain't going to get offended. You say, hey, dude, where's your positive mental attitude? It's tough. I'll keep it, but you got to bring me back around. Guys, thanks so much for having me in Indiana. It's been the whole show has been wonderful. Thank you guys for letting the college guys come over. Man. Dr. Dre.